Hey everyone, welcome to the Nuts and Bolts show. I am Don.
And I'm Sean, and we're very happy to come back at you guys, episode number 2 of many, many more to come. And, this is just a show where two guys, Don and I, are just hanging out, just talking about the topics of the day. And they could be funny, they could be serious, but nonetheless, we hope that we make it entertaining and you guys, maybe you'll learn a thing or two.
Yeah, and please, we're not begging, but in a way, I guess we are begging. Hit the like button and subscribe. And we hope that we do entertain. And,
I know I'm begging. I am begging. Like and subscribe. And the most important thing is we love your opinions. We've heard a lot of good opinions the first show, and we'd love to hear them in the comments. So if you have any ideas, things for the next show, things you didn't like, things we can change to make ourselves better, please feel free to let us know in the comments.
True. Speaking of the first show, Sean, your opinion, what did you think?
I personally liked it. I was very proud of what we did, and it was an enjoyable experience. I really like to kind of get away from life for a little bit and just have some fun with you and kind of just talk about some things that really meant a lot to both of us. And I've heard some good things from people, too, who have watched it. We've had some critics, but nonetheless, for the most part, we've had some very good comments. They enjoyed what they saw. They thought maybe it was a little too short, but who knows? Maybe we'll make it longer. Some will go longer, some will go shorter. How about you? I know your brother watched it and he had some opinions on it. Is that right?
My brother, he did watch it. And yeah, you were on the phone with me when we were talking to him. And I told you he was going to be the most critical of all the people who watched it, which I think the number is up to 135.
Yes.
And it's kind of weird, that was our first time doing that, my first time ever doing something like that. So you saw the number go up from 127, it dropped, then back to 127, it dropped, to where now it's at 135 and holding. It was exciting. I remember, I think I was on the phone with you when it went to 100, and I yelled out loud, like, woohoo. 100 is a very minimal number when you're doing YouTube videos. It's actually nothing.
Yeah.
But for us, it was, I thought, an accomplishment. And, where there were some critiques, and we do have to listen to that. But it is our show. We do what we want, whether, like you stated, and I'm not going to repeat it, but ultimately we are doing it for the fans and whatever fans that we do have. But one thing they said was that there was too much noise behind me. Not noise, but too many things to look at. So here behind me now is a couch and a wall. I guess that makes us, we'll get maybe 10 extra viewers for the wall.
Simple.
But other than that, no, I had a good time, and I was proud, and I mentioned that in the comments on that YouTube page that I was proud, not so much of the content, because when I looked at it, there were things that I wish I said differently, or maybe things I could have added to it. But I was proud that we did it. We did it, and we stuck to what we said, that it wouldn't be scripted, and it would be off the cuff, whatever we wanted to talk, with the topics that we wanted to talk about in any way, and I was proud of that. So let's get started with this show. I think it's going to be a very special show. But before we do that, did you see the debate, Sean?
I did. A few nights ago, I did watch the debate. First presidential debate I've ever watched, and it was something. It really was. A lot of interruptions, a lot of people talking over each other. Not really too many answers to the questions that were asked on either side. How about you? What did you think?
I've watched many debates, and I have gotten into politics. It's not a hobby, but just something that I've paid attention to now since September 11th. And the last show we had talked about September 11th. But that's really when I changed and decided that what's going on in the public arena was important to pay attention to. So since that date, I really paid attention and watched, presidential addresses and the presidential races. And I am a conservative, a constitutional conservative. I was a Republican, but I changed that because I noticed that didn't really matter which side of the aisle they were on at times. They actually weren't really representing me either side. So I changed. But the debate was, it was interesting to watch, something that I've never seen played out in that fashion before. And there's been a lot of talk about how rude, Trump was. And speaking of Trump, obviously he's been diagnosed with COVID, and so is his wife. So we give him our best wishes, and anybody who's contracted COVID, we pray for you, and our thoughts are for you and your family. But they said he came off kind of rude, and it made me think that's what they voted for. They voted for a man who is going to say pretty much anything, and he doesn't pick who he's going to do this with. Just ask people like Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, who I was a big fan of. Those are Republicans. Those are people on his side, right. And he is more than willing to go after them as well. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the debate. I didn't get to see it. I was listening to it in the car. I enjoyed it, and I don't think that there was a winner either way. I don't think it moved the needle. I think that if there are undecided voters before the debate, I think they're probably still undecided. Mm-hmm. The majority of them anyway. And if you are a Trump fan, nothing deterred you from stopping being a Trump fan. If you were a Biden fan, nothing deterred you from being a Biden fan. I want to see the race continue. It's an interesting race. And you know what's interesting too is that since John McCain and Obama, every 4 years I've heard all the talking heads say this is the most important race of our lifetime. I do really believe that this one is more important than the other ones in the past, because there's a very different message between the two different parties, with Biden being somewhat socialist, and some would even accuse of being somewhat communist, different views, and then Trump being more of the conservativist, and constitutionalist, who is backed. He's trying to help everybody, and not everybody's going to be happy. No matter what he does, there's going to be people who are unhappy. But it doesn't matter. Every president is going to have enemies and people who love them or whatever back them. That's just the way the politic game is played. We did just spend some time talking about politics in the debate, and I had a different direction that I wanted to go initially when we were talking about, well, what do we talk about the topics for this show? And I was going to stick to politics because there were some things that happened last week that really got under my skin. And I'm a passionate person when I believe there is a actual right versus a wrong. When I believe that, ultimately that still is my opinion, that others may believe too. But I'm going to get away from that, Sean, because I think it's important to recognize something else. Someone who is very important to me, and that would be my wife, who is not here right now, but she actually made an appearance in our first show at the very end, when she came from the kitchen and got up to the screen and waved, and then we did our sign off. I've been married just a little over a month, and I can tell you that it feels longer, and that doesn't mean it's negative. It means that basically, when I met this person, I knew right away that this was somebody that I wanted to marry. And I've never felt that way before with anybody. When it rains, Sean, whether you're looking at your window of the car or maybe a house, you'll see little droplets when the rainstorm just starts, and they're all separate. And the more it rains, the more these raindrops start to connect. And that is the analogy that I use with our relationship, because it really started off very simple and innocent. They were very quick conversations. Hello, how are you? How's your day? Oh, you're leaving for the night. And not that I want to use the word insignificant, but they were by themselves. It wasn't anything that somebody would look at and go, oh, wow, down in Edona, you could tell they're flirting, because we weren't. We were just two people just saying hello to each other. And then eventually there was a spark, and where we connected. I had to respond to an issue in the building that we worked in, where she was basically attacked, and I had to come to her rescue. And I remember analyzing that day many, many times in my head, thinking to myself, wow, how is she ever going to like me? And that's when the light bulb went off. Like, wait, what did I just say? How is she going to like me? I then realized, wow, I like this girl. I like talking to her. I felt bad about what happened. And it was concerning to me, like, geez, maybe I just, she's never going to think anything about me now that I didn't help her in that time of need. It was something one of the craziest things I've ever seen. But in that incident, it was a year later when I finally got the courage to send her a friend request on Facebook, which she responded to, Sean, no joke. It took maybe 2 minutes, if that, She accepted it. And then when she got home that night, we had talked for hours, probably almost till the sun came up. And then we have never stopped talking. We obviously now we live together, we're married. And so talking is different. It's not texting and messaging anymore. Now it's more in person. We still text, but the point is our conversations have never died down. This is a girl who supports me. I support her. But more what I want to address is the fact that nobody has ever given me the love that I've seen from her. Nobody has ever supported me the way that she supports me today. In whatever I want to do, I know even if she may not agree with it completely, she will push me to do the best that I can. And it is an honor to have somebody who is that dedicated to the person that they're with, and she is 100%, without a doubt, dedicated to me and now dedicated to our marriage. And I couldn't be more happier, and I love the girl deeply. So as you can see, the pictures that are that Sean has rolled or scrolled through, there's some that are really cute and nice, and some are really funny. And that's the other part of it too, is not only is she my wife, but she's my best friend. And we love laughing. We love doing goofy things. And I can't remember exactly. Oh, I do remember. We were in Chipotle just a little while ago, and I'm not going to discuss what I did in the line, but we ended up laughing our rear ends off because she found it to be very funny. Initially, I thought she was going to smack me, but this time, no. She actually laughed pretty hard, and we enjoy our time together. And everybody has conflicts. No matter how good your relationship is, there are going to be conflicts. And we have passed the test, which the true test of any relationship is when things are not going well. And everybody has those times, and we do. Most of it, you know, Sean, are not even us. It's more of like the things that are around us that affect and infiltrate the relationship. And we always find a way, whether it's an hour later or a few hours later, we always find a way to reconnect and find each other. And that is the kind of love that I just, you know, it's hard to find that. And I have no doubt that this is my person forever.
Wow, that's amazing, man. It's so awesome to see when two people you can tell are truly meant to be together, find each other, and they're truly happy. And you know, nothing in life is perfect. People aren't perfect. Relationships aren't perfect. And that's just a part of life. And you need that part, because if everything's going well all the time, you don't build that character, that bond between each other, fighting through the difficulties and being by each other's sides. That's amazing. And kind of like you, I've been lucky enough to find who I think is my sweetheart for a very, very, very long time. And she is not here with me, but I have a pretty good friend here that she can take her place. Her name is Emily, and similar to you and Edona, Emily and I met at work. It was actually the same work as you and Edona. And we're not going to mention the company, but it's a very good company. She's a lovely person. She's friendly. She's amazing. She's sweet. And the most important part is she loves me for me, and I love her for her. And you can't find that very often. It's easy to be friends with somebody, and it's much harder to be girlfriend, boyfriend, and in love with somebody. But I'm so happy that I found her, because I've been able to experience that. I've truly never had a relationship in my life that meant this much to me, apart from family, mother, father, and I'm truly blessed, truly blessed. We love to do things together. This is us on vacation, and it was a beautiful sunset. Not as beautiful as her, but beautiful nonetheless. And this is us again at the lake. We love to go out and eat. We love to do things, and it's not about the food for me or her. It's about the interaction. It's about the situation and the experience. You can pay for anything, but you can't pay for an experience. The experience is people. It's not money, it's people. And that's her. She doesn't like me taking pictures of her face too much, so I think she'll approve of that one. I don't know about any of the other ones I put up here, but I'm so happy to have her in my life, and I just want to say I love you, Emily.
That's nice, Sean. That's nice, Sean. What is she thinking in that picture?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I hope it's something good. I don't know.
Did she know you were taking the picture?
Yeah, it was staged.
That's
staged.
funny.
It was staged.
All right, go ahead and take a picture of me, but it's not going to be in my face.
No, this was an awesome day. We actually went to Chick-fil-A in Cicero or Syracuse, the Syracuse one, for food. And we don't live there. We live in Schenectady and in that area. So it was a nice day to just drive up. And like I said, it's not about the food. It was about the trip up, sitting in the car with her, talking with her.
You told me about this day.
I did. Yeah. Yep. So we had some of their food, some of their milkshakes, some of their lemonade. And on the way back, we decided to stop at what looked like a little park. And it was a park, but it also had access to, I believe it's Lake Ontario. And that's what you see here. It was a lovely day. Every day I get to spend with her is a lovely day, even if we're just sitting doing nothing. And sometimes those are the days that I like, because I like to be with her and I just like to enjoy her.
That's a good point, Sean, because my wife and I have talked about that in the beginning, there's always a lot to talk about. And on occasion, whether it's a car ride or whatever we were doing, sometimes there would be silence. And I remember her bringing this up, that even though there was silence and that we weren't really talking for whatever amount of time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some couples might look at that when you're in the early stages as like an uh-oh. But I remember her saying that she was very comfortable, and that didn't bother her one bit, and it didn't bother me one bit either, because we were together. We were still together even though we were relaxing, not saying really much of anything. And that's awesome, Sean. And I wish you and Emily the best. When you talk about her, a lot of times if you say she's not feeling good, I'll ask you later on, how's Emily doing? And you do the same with me as well. And, asking how am I doing? How's Edona doing? And you're a good guy, and Emily is obviously really good for you, and you're good for her. And it's always nice to see that. And I wish you both well. And so this is somewhat, go ahead.
I was just going to say, before we move too far away from it, to your point about the silence, it's very hard and unusual when you find somebody where you can have a comfortable silence with and still be the happiest in the world. And it's okay that you don't talk. And kind of like you and Edona, I found that with Emily. And it's nice. It's really nice to be able to know that you don't have to talk. You don't have to fill the room with air. That just your personalities, your connection is that is what's in the air. Very true.
And a little bit of a different show, although this is only our second show. But I think it was important to both of us to do this. I felt very adamant about it. So no matter how many views, this is a show that I'm going to remember forever. And this is a show for Edona. This is a show for Emily.
That's right.
We have, I think, something really special planned. And, you and I talked on the phone, and I said our third show is going to have to be a home run. And we are going to put together something that I think is going to appeal to everybody. There's going to be some, without giving it away, I think there's going to be some really funny things and exciting things or interesting things that will happen in the very next one. I think you and I, we have an idea of what we're trying to accomplish. And it can be anything. Any topic at any time, whether we're going to be serious with the topic or joke around with the topic. We may be doing things that are going to be outside and little skits here and there, jokes here and there. But you and I came to agreement pretty quick that we wanted to recognize people and recognize people who we know work very hard in jobs that are not thought of all the time or underappreciated at times. And I have a guy that I want to talk to and put him on here, and you've got somebody that you want to talk to. I think we're both good guys, and I think that we want to recognize good people and professions that, like I just said, I'm not going to repeat it, but what we're doing is unique. And I don't know if there's anybody else out there in YouTube land or whatever that are trying to do these things, but we are. And whether we're successful or not, who knows? but we're going to have a good time with it no matter what. And with that, that's the Nuts and Bolts Show. And for Don and you, that's us. Good night. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe.